Planet Dolan.
Hello, Danger Dolan. Gooby and I went and saw a film called Jungle, which is a survival film starring Daniel Radcliffe, formerly known as HP. This is based on a true story of a guy getting lost in the jungle of South America for weeks. Now, we went and saw this in a small independent theater. Only half the seats were full, which wasn't a great sign, but hey, it's an independent film. You're not expecting a huge amount of crowd. So when the film started, actually, I saw this was done by Screen Australia and Screen Queensland. Even though this whole thing is set in South America, I'm guessing they did some filming in this country, or at least had a crew from here over there.
I wanted to experience the extraordinary, which is why I ended up in the jungle.
It's a basic backpacker movie where a group of 4 guys go trekking into the forest looking for natives. There's really no bullshit with a backstory. The first little bit introducing the characters is so quick. Honestly, I didn't mind that. Nothing bogs down a film more than a goddamn unnecessary backstory. And when they're going through the forest, you know, they start off full of excitement, full of pep. But like, you know, every time you go traveling, very quickly you get sore, you get frustrated, your feet start to bleed, some schmo starts to drag down the group and you gotta slow down for him. It just turns into a nightmare. Now, I'm not gonna spoil this film, but as the official blurb, you know, mentions, you know, the main character, Daniel Radcliffe, ends up on his own and he has to survive in the forest.
You have a map, and people are coming to save you. All you have to do is keep going.
So the second half of the film is like a mix between Castaway and 127 Hours. It's like the perfect blend of the two. The setting from Castaway of just being lost and you don't know how to contact anyone, and the mental psychosis from 127 Hours. In fact, there was a lot of similarities to that film. It was pretty crazy. Now I'm going to go ahead and say Daniel Radcliffe, like, holy shit, massive acting improvement over Harry Potter. He was always somewhat schlocky in that, you know, being a child actor, but there are some scenes in this film where he's screaming, he's frustrated. They were so fucking real. Like, you could tell he was a moment away from a goddamn aneurysm. He had blood in his face. Huge props to the dude. Now, guys, if you liked my Metroid squishing video, you are gonna love this film. Tons of squishy, crunchy, squelchy sound effects as Daniel does the grossest shit ever just to be able to survive, and they show it in detail. You know, he doesn't cut off his own arm like 127 Hours, but there's still plenty of messed up crap in this, trust me. Overall, I really liked the film. Nitpicking, I guess. There's some dates that show up randomly like 20 minutes in. Like, it doesn't tell you that this film's set in 1981 until a little bit in, and you're like, oh, cool. It just randomly appears in the middle of a scene. It's like, okay, so this was over 30 years ago. Right, okay. That would have been useful at the very start of the film, but sure. And then randomly throughout the film, it'll tell you how many days Daniel's been in the jungle. But it's not at like milestones. It just happens 2 or 3 times and it's like, oh, this is 6 days since he got lost. Oh, now it's 14 days. And then the time just vanishes for the rest of the film. So it's really not clear how long he was in the forest. Like, some characters vaguely mention some weeks, but then that's it. They never actually establish how long it's been. Again, that's just nitpicking. I really enjoyed the film, and the whole theater did actually. When the credits rolled, man, like, when I'm in like a Marvel film, everyone's fucking going unless they know there's like a post-credits thing. Like, every film, people just jump out of their seats like it's on fire. This movie, no one got up. We all just sat there for like 5 minutes, just like taking it in, like overwhelmed. That's pretty good. I looked up the writer and director for this film. The writer is Justin Mongeau. He penned the Farscape movie, just sci-fi, so it's pretty crazy how different this one is. He hasn't really done too much else apart from that. And the director is Greg McLean. You might actually know him from directing Wolf Creek and Rogue, both Aussie indie films. And he just did another survival movie last year, The Belko Experiment, written by the Guardians of the Galaxy writer-director James Gunn. So I gotta check that one out, because if I enjoyed this film, and they did that one, it sounds good. Funnily enough though, that this film and that film got pretty mixed reviews on things like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I disagree when it comes to this one. And I think the whole audience I was with disagreed because they were just sitting there totally blown away. They loved it. I've also asked Golden Gooby what she thought of the film.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the film. There wasn't really anything I didn't like, but I sort of felt as if the setup it was done very quickly. Like, you were in one area for 1 minute, like there's a tiny little scene, and then you skip ahead and you're in another area, and it just felt as if it wasn't really leaving enough time for, you know, some relationships to be established. But no, it definitely gave a more graphic and detailed explanation of what actually happens when people are lost, because usually what you see in things is like, I don't know, 2 weeks later or 1 week later, and you just see them all groveled, but you don't know how they actually got to that. Whereas in this, it actually shows you what is happening to the poor guy.
Alright guys, my rating system is how many times I checked my watch throughout the entire film. This one, I had to check it once at the halfway point, but that was more of a, alright, a lot of stuff is changing, you gotta figure out how much longer in the film there is to go. Because I was actually worried that was near the end of the film, but no, it was about the halfway point. Regardless, if it wasn't for that, it would have been 0. I really love the film. And I think you guys should go see it. If they are running it in your theater, it was a pretty independent film, so they might not be showing it everywhere. Maybe it's just like an Australia heavy release or something. Regardless, if you can't see it in the theater, wait for it to come out on the internet and then watch it.